And I've thought about that, like, what if I have kids? Like, what if our baby comes out and they're like chocolate black? Like, they're not mixed race like milk and cocoa. Like, they're like
me.
Like burnt coffee
hey
black.
Hey everyone, Esiri here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing good. I hope you're living your best life and you're just being great, because I am. Anyway guys, today I have the Hubs with me.
The real star of the show.
It's been a while that Carson has been on this channel and I've asked him to come here today because I'm putting him in the hot seat. Literally, the seat is hot.
That's not true. Never mind.
So yeah, Carson's gonna be answering some questions today, questions that I made up myself. But before we get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone because I hit 1,000 subscribers last week. Yes, that's my 1,000 subscribers dance. Thank you all so much. I'm really grateful to everyone who subscribed to me. So
now wait a second. You also have to talk about this fancy piece of technology we're filming.
Oh yeah, can you see the lighting is better because your girl got a ring light?
Look,
hey.
Look, can you see the ring light in my eyes? You can see the glow?
I feel like a YouTuber and I got a ring light, I got the YouTube setup that isn't showing, but whatever. And also, if you're in this video looking right now and you're not subscribed, join the family. Okay, too much rambling now, let's go into the video. So babe,
yes.
Today,
this is gonna be hard.
No, it's not. It's simple questions, just 2 questions because I want to keep this video really short and really sweet.
Okay.
So you know, like they always say, it's never too early to start planning for the future, right? Or talking about what do you have that face? Or you know, just talking about the future in general. So today we're gonna be talking about our future kids.
Ah, okay.
The K word.
Ah, video's over. We're done here.
We're gonna be talking about our future kids. You know, like I'm not pregnant yet, so don't get any assumptions going on. But we do plan to hopefully, by the grace of God, have kids in the future. So I only have 2 questions today regarding our future kids.
Watch the 2 questions. I'm in the hot seat. She's gonna be like, when are we doing it and can we do it right now? Those are the 2 questions and this video is a farce.
Okay, so question number 1. So how do you feel about having kids that, okay, this question has 2 parts. So the first part is, how do you feel about having kids that will be considered black? Because even though our kids will be mixed race, both black and white, they will be they'll be called black by every other person in the world, which there's nothing wrong with that, but how do you feel about having kids that will be considered black? And the second part of this question is, how do you feel about having kids that are not going to have the white privilege that you have as a white man in society?
So the first part, ooh, man, this is hard. You put me right on the spot. It's like I have so many things to say and none at the same time. I don't think I really, well, I shouldn't say I don't care, because obviously, like, everybody cares about their kids and everybody cares about, like, their kids if their kids are different than you are or whatever, to some degree. So just being like, I don't care, that's not true. But I would say, in terms of like their specific skin color being black, I don't really care. Like I've never really thought about it that way. Like to me, it's just like, if you're gonna have kids, you're gonna have kids. I think for me, knowing what I know about history and culture and, you know, all kinds of problematic white supremacy and stuff these days, I will probably be myself pretty into like, oh, I don't even know the right words for it. I want to say black power, but like, I'm a white dude, so I don't know anything about black power, but like, I would encourage my children to like be proud of who they are, and be proud of their heritage on your side. And I think for me, the one that I thought is funny is like, right now, I think you know this, but if you don't know, YouTube, I'm an English teacher, so I have a couple little Korean children that I teach that I absolutely love, that I'm like, if I could take this kid home and adopt them, I would. They're adorable. But the physical thing that makes kind of me chuckle sometimes is they look so different to me that like when I hold them and I'm like, you could be my baby daughter, I'm like, you don't look anything like me.
Yeah.
And that's okay, it's just kind of funny. And I've thought about that, like what if I have kids, like what if our baby comes out and they're like chocolate black? Like they're not mixed race like milk and cocoa. Like they're
like me.
Like burnt coffee black. and like I don't care, but I think it would be really funny to have like a pasty white boy dad like me and have this like black child that I'm gonna be like, this is mine, this one's mine. So mostly I just think it's funny. But no, I would definitely like, I would want my kids to be really proud of like who they are, and I would want my kids to know that, you know, the world isn't always going to be good to them, but I don't know. I would do my best basically to make sure that they're aware that the color of their skin will affect their life somehow.
Yeah.
Sometimes positively, but mostly negatively.
Yeah.
As for white privilege, I actually read a really interesting article about that once, about a white mom who had 2 adopted black kids in America, and she said what she did is she actively, because she obviously couldn't give her children her white privilege, she actively used her white privilege to benefit them. Not necessarily in like the, I'm gonna get them into schools and like that kind of like white privilege, but things like when they would go into stores, like she would make sure that she was with them at all times so that they didn't get labeled shoplifters when obviously when they were older, not when they were like 2.
Yeah.
Or like if there were ever like police around, like she was always in front of them and like actively like protecting them in that way. So but I also, you know, ideologically speaking, I want to dismantle white privilege. So if my children don't have it in a way that's a good thing, because I feel like I would be a hypocrite to say, oh, it sucks my kids don't have white privilege, because like I don't want white privilege. I don't want anybody to have white privilege. So if I say, man, I can't give my kids white privilege, that sucks, that's really kind of just saying I want to keep white privilege around as long as it's for my kids, which I don't want. So I would say my short answer, because I've already been talking for like 800 hours, is the shorter answer is, as long as white privilege exists and as long as I have it, I will use it to benefit the people of color around me as best as I can, because that's basically all I can do. Until you guys decide to kill all white people, which is coming. It's coming. Any day now. Like, yeesh. And I don't blame you.
Okay, for me, obviously I'm black, so I don't have no like white privilege, but growing up in Nigeria, and I'm pretty sure like in almost every black community there's colorism, you know, where the lighter skinned you are, the lighter you are to looking like a white person, or just anything that makes you look like a white person, the more, you know, there's more favor to you. Like, so our kids are gonna be light skinned. Let's just imagine they come out like mistress kids, like they come out having our skin turned together and they come out looking like a caramel ice cream. So our kids are gonna be favored in the black community, which is still sad in terms of like white privilege, because one person is being favored over the other. So in the community where the kids will be as a black person, they would be favored over like someone like my skin tone. So I think me as a black person having kids who would most likely, you know, have like their skin tone be look up more than the other person, I would personally let my kids know from a young age that you are a light-skinned black person and you are most likely going to be treated much better than a dark-skinned person of your same race. So let them know that from a very young age, and also teach them, you know, to use their whatever privilege they have in a better way, you know, like whatever way they can help the community, or whatever way they can use their privilege to fight or help in a way where colorism isn't much of a thing anymore. Whatever way they can help, basically just teach them ways to not make them be so proud, because it's really annoying when you see light-skinned people and they're like, we don't want that. So I'm going to try my best as a black parent to teach my kid not to be that kind of a person, because I know what it felt like growing up where, you know, you see job ads, even back home in Nigeria where everybody is black, but they're obviously light-skinned people. You see some job ads and they'll be like, oh, we want light-skinned girls. Like, what? So yeah, those kind of things. Okay, Now, moving on to question number 2, which is going to be our final question because, like I said earlier, I wanted to keep this video really short and sweet. The next one is, this one is for you and I, obviously. So, again, having misraised kids, there's going to come to a point in time in their lives when they're going to be like, who am I? Because you're not white enough to be white. And in most cases, in some black communities, you're not black enough to be black.
Yeah.
So they're like in this middle, like, I don't know where I belong. I'm not white, I'm not black, like, who am I? So how are you going to, you know, shape our kids to be proud of like their identity, you know, help them find themselves like in society and just be proud of who they are, be proud of like the two sides of them.
That's like the hardest fucking question everyone's ever given me in anything ever, and you just want me to pop off with a nice answer in a 20-minute YouTube video. Okay, so hang on. The question is, how am I going to teach or help my kids learn, like,
be themselves, like find their identity, kinda.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. Like I said, hot seat. Okay, for me personally, what I'm gonna do is, you know, we're most likely gonna end up in Canada. Let's just imagine that's where we end up living in. We're most likely gonna end up in Canada. What I would do personally, because I know I can understand how it would feel, you know, not knowing where you belong in society. And race is very, like, you know, not having like your ethnic, what's the word I'm looking for? Identity is kind of important to people, you know, to everybody. So for me, what I would do is just make sure to put our kids in an environment where they see people like them too.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe in schools they go to, whatever activities they're involved in, just make sure to put them in a community where they're not like the only one mistress kid standing there, because it makes it a lot easier when you see other people like you. So also like the neighborhood we live in, we also just kind of make sure that, you know, like we're not living in an all white neighborhood or living in an all black neighborhood. Like we live in like a neighborhood where there's everybody, you know, there's black, there's white, there is whatever you can think of. So just try to include our kids in a way where they see more of themselves everywhere in like their day-to-day lives, like their day-to-day activity, and also just teaching them both sides of their lives, like both sides of them, like expose them to your side and also expose them to my side. That way they, from a very young age, you know, they're very connected to both sides, and it kind of, at least these things kind of make it easier when it comes to like that time of their life, to when it's like, who am I? At least with these little things they have already growing up from like a young age, kind of helps them like find themselves and know who they are, if that makes any sense. Anything to add?
Yeah, I don't want to say I disagree. I don't really disagree. I feel like how I would feel if I'm just trying to put myself in those shoes. So like, you know, I obviously have family members that are mixed race, not black and white, but you know, like indigenous and white or what have you.
Yeah.
And watching them grow up or watching how they deal with things, it's almost like you can't, I feel like you can't teach, or maybe I just can't, but I feel like it's not my place to tell my kids who they are. I feel like I will teach you about my family in Canada, and obviously if you're living in Canada, if we end up living in Canada long term, they'll know that, and I would very much want them to learn about where you're from, and your obviously they'll know your family and be close to your family, and obviously they will be exposed naturally, having you as a mom, they will be exposed to African style clothing and African style food and language and all these things, and obviously having a Canadian dad, they will be exposed to like Western styles of stuff. So I feel like I would want to do it more like holistically, like, or grassroots. Like I sort of lay the foundation and then just, you know, here's your history, here's where you come from, but it's up to you to decide what your identity is. I can't tell you that no more than I can tell you who you like or who you love or who, you know, anything. It's not really any of my business in a way. I feel like it's like, teach them where they're from, and they can take that where they will. I want them to be...
Yeah, we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell them this is who you are. I'm just gonna put them in a situation where they see people like them, and with those things they have growing up, or with those experiences that they've had growing up with people of different places, when it comes to that point of their life where they're having that crisis, they can figure out who they are with those experiences they've had that was put in their life growing up, kinda.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I think I agree with you. I think it's important to live. There was a quote, I don't know who said it, but it was basically like, the death of prejudice is like travel or living abroad or living in a different place.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that if we live in a very multi-racial, multi-ethnic community, it's much easier to be comfortable with who you are. And something. So I agree.
True. Because when you live in a place where there's only white people and there's only black people, and you're like, I don't fit into anyone.
Yeah.
But when you live in a place where there's different people, it's a lot easier to find like where you belong easily. So yeah, so that is all, guys. And like I said, I wanted to keep this video very short and sweet, so just 2 questions, and this has been fun asking Carson these questions because we've never discussed anything like this before, have we?
Oh, I'm sure we have in private, but not in a way that like we're gonna remember. We've talked about it for like 2 minutes off topic.
Yeah, so guys, this is the end of the video. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We're growing. Get me to 1,100. We're almost there.
1,000 is almost 10,000, and 10,000 is almost 1,000,000. So where is our YouTube plaque thing? YouTube, come on.
Where?
It's just simple math. Look at that ring light, though.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.
See you next time.
Hi, guys. Esiri here. No, I don't want to say hi, guys. I'm gonna cut that.